Welcome to the Random Horror Show. I am your horror hostess, Keisha Lacey, coming straight out of the Pine Current, better known as East Texas. And here at the Random Horror Show, where we just being silly film commentating on many stupid things, going off tangents, whatever it is, but we always go back to the main point in horror, science fiction, fantasy, cult classics, and the obscure in movies, television shows, and literature. And sometimes we sprinkle in with some gale stuff. How y'all doing out there? And thank you for listening. And I appreciate y'all listening ears out there. And it is December, not September. We're in December. We have 30 days left in 2022. Gonna roll into this bitch into 2023. And of course, everybody is gearing up for the holiday horrors like Black Christmas Remake, Gremlins, shit, Die Hard if you're an action movie fan, and just Silent Night, Deadly Night. I did that last year. Another holiday horror slasher banger for you guys. But tonight, we're going to be talking about, and it was suggested to me, by the way, shout out to Eric for suggesting this movie, 2021 horror thriller, The Retaliators. And before I jump in into it, I would like to give a special shout out to Action Movie Book Club. Did a episode with them. We talked about DC's Flashpoint Paradox, talking about old Barry, the Flash, and Superman, all them. You get to hear me and see me. You can catch Action Movie Book Club on Instagram. Um, Also on YouTube. They're going to be doing lots more live podcasts. And these guys right here, they really know their action. I mean, they really know their action films like a mofo. I mean, they have me cracking the fuck up every time I listen to them. Y'all, I am literally in my car and I'm trying to go and put my DJ equipment up, or I'm just driving to get to the grocery store, whatever mom shit, whatever fucking human mundane bullshit, whatever we do every day in life. And they have me almost running over curbs. Actually, they did have me run over a curb. Of course, disclaimer for them, they are not responsible for your accidents. Hitting, almost fender bended somebody because they had me like hollering. I mean, they had me dead ass laughing and just choking and pissy. And they are very great podcasts. And please go check them out. You can find them on Spotify. You can find them on Instagram and YouTube. Hans and JP are so fucking awesome. I love them. I really love them so much. They are just the funniest guys, very kind and welcoming guys. I met them this year, used to do some live shows with them and everything. But you can catch all of our like conversations when we talk about Flashpoint. I mean, even down when I'm talking about Amazon Coochie and and if you're really a big DC fan, you will definitely love that episode of DC's Flashpoint Paradox. It is a DC animated film. I don't know why DC is just not churning these motherfuckers out, because I believe that will actually, and I do agree, I believe that will save a lot of the heartache and bullshit that DC goes through whenever they put a live action movie out. I know Marvel's always kicking ass. Sometimes Marvel has their bullshit and everything else, but I feel that DC can do better. Also, talking points. This is going to be wrapping up for season 5 of the Random Horror Show, and I will be back in June. Baby, I gotta take a damn break. I have been literally swamped with instructing. I'm a lash instructor in the beauty industry. Um, it is a lot. My brain is just literally like mush when I come home. I don't even know how I fucking operate to like cook dinner, and I don't know. My ass is just on autopilot. But you can still reach to me, reach out on my social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, and Gmail, which I will be letting y'all know at every time when I bust out with my shit at the end. But like I said, it's been a lot, and we're wrapping up season 5. It's been great. Thanks to all the people that have participated. Um, like Christine Germain, David Harrison, Mason Marks, uh, Jorge De La Rosa. There's going to be 2 more guests that's coming up on the show. Very awesome ladies and stuff that are in the horror genre. Especially one, she is very awesome. I love her to death. I know I mispronounce her name all the time, but she know she know what I'm trying to say. But that's pretty much a lot that's been going on. But again, let's step on and let's chit chat about Retaliators. And again, thank you, Eric, for suggesting this movie to me. And Retaliators is, I would put it as Ned Flanders. It feels like Ned Flanders has stepped into Evil Dead. This is also, I watched it and I was like, this reminds me of chess. Yes, this is actually chess because we have some people on here that I'm kind of like not like familiar with, but guess what? There is some stuff up in here that is familiar with a lot of people. If you are a big fan of Five Finger Death Punch, which they are on tour with Ice Nine's Kills, they're coming to Texas. I think they're hitting San Antonio and stuff. They are in this movie, and it's like Michael Lombardi. He's like really cute and everything. He just reminds me of like a really cool youth pastor. But anyways, let's step on to this motherfucker and everything called The Retaliators. Retaliators is a horror thriller. It is 100. Did I say 100? I meant to say an hour and 35 minutes. We have actors Spencer Charnes, Joseph Gatt, Katie Kelly, Ivan L. Moody, I'm going to say Jacoby Shaddix. We also have a cameo appearance by Tommy Lee, which he is the strip club DJ. Of course, I mentioned Marco Lombardi, Mark Machia, Zoltan Bathroy, which is part of the group, Jason Hooks, and some more people. Well, it starts off. Oh, and you know what? Homeboy from motherfucking Clerks, okay? Brian O'Halloran, he is in this motherfucking movie. So, yes, I did recognize him. So, anyways, the band is in, like it's in here, is like also, like Ice Nine Kills, because like Ice Nine Kills is like pretty much, very popular. They're like heavy metal and everything. Thank goodness. Like I need more metal. People need more metal in their life instead of this bullshit that we listening to. This is fucked up. But anyways, and also the Retaliators 21 Bullets was written by Nikki Six. If y'all don't know who Nikki Six is, come on now. I need like my 80s metalheads, my hair bands and shit. Nikki Six, bro. Come on now. I know that shit right there, right off the fucking bat. But it starts off as two young ladies. They are traveling a long ways. They're traveling in this brown ass van. All of a sudden, they going off the offbeat path. Homegirl is like, oh shit, why we get this way? Maybe it's quicker. So they're driving on this lonely ass dusty road somewhere in some fucking woods or some shit like that. And the tire burst. It has a flat tire. She goes out. All of a sudden, she gets swoosh. You see a shadow appearing behind her, takes her off. Then the chick that's in the fucking car and everything in the van, she's like, "Oh my god, my friend got out and she's gone. What's going on? It looks like zombies because there's loads of people that's out there looking crazy and shit." And so like here comes Michael Lombardi, which is his character's name is John Bishop. Ha ha ha, Bishop, get it? He's like looking like fucking Ash and like cool youth pastor. Actually, he is a pastor in this movie, and Ned Flanders and stuff. He's like a new age Ned Flanders or some shit like that. And he was like, "Oh, child, my child, you know, saying don't get out the motherfucking van and stuff. I'm gonna help you out and everything." But she gets like all attacked and shit, and then it cuts out. And then here comes like, like retaliator. So like Ned Flanders and his daughters and stuff, they're all well his real name is the guy's name in here is John Bishop, but I'm gonna refer him to Ned Flanders. So Ned Flanders and his daughters, they're getting it's like Christmas time, dun dun dun, which is perfect for Christmas for your Christmas horror and stuff. So Ned Flanders is like all happy and cheerful and shit like that. And his oldest daughter, she's like, "I want to go to the party, Dad." And he's like, "Well, tell me you're not gonna grow up on me. I'm not gonna grow up on you, Dad." Let my dad say some bullshit like that. Like, don't grow up on me. I'm gonna be like, "Bitch, I'm finna get out this motherfucking house and I'm smoking fucking cigarettes." That's what exactly I would say to him. I think I have said that to him. Like, bitch, please. That's just how I am. But so it's like all like Christiany and like unicorns and eggnog and stuff like that with this family. They also his wife has passed away, so he's just keeping it in. He's a single, like hot, like youth pastor dad, and with these two beautiful daughters. Well, anyways, like she gets a phone call and he walks off towards with the other younger daughter. This dude comes to like snatch the tree and shit, and she's like, "Yo, what's up? Like, why you get my shit like that?" And so like she's like, "Dad, yo, you need to handle this. Like, come on now. Like, homeboy just like snatched this tree, away from us, and after I just dropped it down." And so he goes up to confronts the man, and he was like, "What you gonna do about it, bro? What you gonna do about it? You can't do shit." So like Ned Flanders like have failed like in front of his daughters and shit. I mean, that's like a total fucking embarrassment right there. I'm just saying it is because Ned Flanders like believes in Jesus and the Lord and turn the other cheek and shit like that. And the dude like takes off the tree that they picked, and I was just like, "Yo, bro, like, no, like, no, bro, you could be like all loving and doting and awesome dad and shit like that and everything, but you know what? You need to tell that motherfucker something and stuff." But he didn't do it, and his daughter was like really disappointed. Like, damn, my daddy ain't even like hard and shit. Like she was like, "Man, my daddy a soft bitch. I love him, but he a soft bitch. I understand that, baby. My dad's a soft ass bitch too." So she's like getting ready for the party, and and she's like, yay, I'm getting ready for the party, I'm getting ready for the party. So they had like a sermon like afterwards, because of that incident and everything. And so he's like I said, he's like the really cool youth pastor, like the very hunky handsome. He's not like too like smiley, like what's that fucker name, Joel Olstein. Yeah, Joel Osteen's like, cause I live in Texas, and Joel Osteen's like big ass mega church and shit in Houston and stuff. Man, it's so weird. I knew that man was some. I knew something was fucked up about Joel Osteen as it is, anyways. But enough of him. But he was like telling like his congregation, like, my daughters were with me, and I have to show like compassion because this man is like, he's like barking at me, and I have to let him know, like, look, you gotta turn the other cheek and everything, buddy. So I just, I'm gonna send you out with God's grace and love, because he just doesn't know any better. And like everybody's like all clapping and shit. Of course, he got his like cool ass like heavy metal Christian band and shit, and it's not you know how people used to say like, man, I love Lamb of God, and they think it was like a Christian metal band, but it really wasn't and stuff. They, like, a lot of people were so disappointed in that. So they're like playing and shit, kind of reminds me of like the church where I used to go to. It's like Church of God in Christ, like Kojic. And like we have like the drums and the guitars and shit like that. We be banging and shit like that, yo. So they like banging and shit like that, yo. And it's like a really nice, like non-denominational church, because he's like, I'm gathering all the people. So he's like really, really like respected in the community, doting father, etc., etc. So like, his daughter was like, yo, all right, I'm finna go to the party, dad. And he was like, I'm gonna let you like borrow the Benz. So meanwhile, on the other side of town, we have like a homeboy like Katie and shit and everything. He's like all bald headed and stuff. He's like, you can tell he's like not a great dude and everything. So he was like, yo, like, hey, like, wheelchair motherfucker, you know, I got the shit, you know, the money. They're doing a drug exchange and stuff. So like Caddy, he just like, man, I'm gonna fuck this dude. Like, I'm gonna fuck him up even though he's fucked up because he broke his leg or some shit like that. I'm gonna still fuck him up. So he did. He fucked him up. I mean, he really did. So Caddy was like, man, fuck that dude. I'm gonna get my drugs. I'm gonna get the money, and dirt is like that. So, anyways, like Caddy like throws him in the trunk, and Caddy is like, yo, I'm finna get some gas and everything. I don't know why he showed up at the same like gas station as old girl and stuff. So like Sarah was like, yay, I'm going to the party, and my dad is giving me a curfew till 11. She's gonna like have a great time. She's like enjoying like being a teenager. She knows her dad is like not super strict, but he's like super cushiony. And she was like, if there's some like bullshit pop off, I can like dip out and everything, because she wasn't all that she wasn't all about that life though. Like whenever she got in college and stuff, then she would be all about that life. But like in high school and that, she was just playing it safe. And so she was like finna put some gas in the car and everything. Man, she noticed like somebody, help and all that shit. And so Caddy was like, oh, okay then. Like this girl right here knows that I got this dude in the back of my trunk. And so she's like, oh, hell no. So she gets in the car and everything, and she's like, brr, she like burned it down. Caddy goes and follow her, and she was like scared out of her mind. I would too. Seriously, I would be too. Like some bald headed strange dude with a dude screaming and hollering in the back of the car, and I'm getting gas and everything. But then again, her daddy didn't even tell her, like, yo, if you at a gas station and some like bald headed dude that looks very menacing and stuff like that. He should have told her like, "Girl, you need to dip like that, stranger danger and shit like that. Or don't be going to the gas station by yourself and stuff." And plus, her daddy should have like filled up the fucking car as it is anyway, so your daughter won't be like getting gas at nighttime. Okay, she's 16 though. She's going to a party. You could have done that for her daddy, but anyways, we ain't getting into that shit right there. So Caddy is like chasing her. He like knocks her like off like the road and stuff. Then he takes like a zip tie and he was like tying around her hand and to like the steering wheel and shit. She like fought back. I was like, oh, little scrapple, little scrapple. See, that's what the coolest thing about her is that like even though like she seemed like kind of like how like wussy her daddy was like with old home dude about the Christmas tree, she was like, shit, I'm finna fight for my motherfucking life, though. I was like, yes, scrapper, scrap girl. I mean, she got some licks in on homeboy. She scratched his face and everything else. Like, she didn't give a damn because she trying to get away from him. But sadly to say, um, she didn't make it though. She didn't make it. And the last thing that she did was she called her dad. And I would have been like, girl, I would have called 911 and shit. I just would have called 911. I don't know. I would just wouldn't have my dad on my mind. I'd just be like, shit, 911, help, 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 help. There's a bald head motherfucker chasing me. That's just me. Okay? That's just me. So she ends up in the river, sucks balls. He gets there, daughter dead than a motherfucker, Junior dead than a motherfucker. They have a funeral. He's all sad and grieving and stuff, and it's devastating to him because he lost his wife and he's raising these two girls the best way he can, keeping it together as a widower and a single father. And he's trying to teach them right and wrong and all the Jesus way and shit like that. And then this bullshit happens because she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Don't blame her and shit like that for real. Like, I don't know why people blaming people like, oh, well, that and stuff like that happens too in real life, and it really really sucks though. But like, yeah, now he's just like, man, he's just like a whole mess, just a big puddle of mess. And like, I was just like, man, that sucks for you, Ned Flanders. And because Ned Flanders on Simpsons, he lost his wife too. Did he lose one of the boys? I can't remember. I used to watch The Simpsons, but the girls do kind of remind me of like Todd and that other little boy and everything. That's how they remind me of. But these are two girls, but like the oldest one has some fucking fight in her. Like she really did. She has some fight. Mm. So a little bit, the youngest daughter, she was just so worried about her dad. He all crying and shit until a detective comes, Detective Jed. He was like, "Yo, man, we're gonna find a punk that did this to your daughter and stuff like that." And he was like, "Okay, but I mean, he's still grieving and stuff. I mean, I'd be devastated too, like that. That's murder and stuff. Like somebody murders your daughter." So Detective Jed is very interesting in this movie because Detective Jed has like a backstory with him, and you will understand why in the beginning of the movie, where you see Ned Flanders, who just turned into Ash from Evil Dead, was like telling like the girl that was in the van before she got killed not to get out and everything else. There's a lot of shit to explain right there. So it explains all of it. Yeah, it's a lot. So like Tech Jed, he was just like, bro, all right, I got this. So he like looks on the cameras. He was like, oh, okay, this. So he finds the car of like what Caddy was driving. So Caddy was just like, "Meh, I got the money, I got the drugs, I'm stiffing some motherfuckers up. He really was. He was doing some dirty shit. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? He had gotten pulled over. So Caddy was like, wait a minute, like, why are you doing this? And then somebody that was the sheriff sticks him with some shit down in a syringe. I was like, what's going on? This is very interesting. Like, who is doing this right here? Which you don't see the face, which we know it's Detective Jed that actually done this. So Caddy goes missing. Meanwhile, you have like all the little, crooked ass like criminals and all that shit. And they're like wondering like where old homeboy, where my brother at, you know what I'm saying? He like top dog and stuff. He like runs this gym, this boxing gym. He's like where, my brother at. He can't get far enough as it is anyways because he's in a wheelchair. He got a broke ass leg and shit. So and they're like, "Where's Caddy at?" and everything. They go into like a strip club. You see like maybe four pairs of titties up in here. Then you see the cameo of like Tommy Lee in there. He speak a little bit of bullshit and everything to the motherfuckers. And so now you have two people, these two groups of like these criminals that's in this town. It's supposed to be like this really sweet, amazing town, but you also have like the criminal underbelly of the town where they run in fucking drugs and murder and prostitution and all kinds of crazy stuff. You always gonna have some shit like that in a small town as it is, anyways. And so they were like, we're gonna have to find out Caddy and stuff, if he don't come with the drugs, he don't come with my brother and the money and everything else, we're gonna get his ass and shit. They thinking he bailed out on them, like stiffed him up, but really he hasn't because he is actually at a secret like location out in the woods far away from town, which is in Detective Jed's house that he has kept because his father had this cabin. And woo, it's very interesting what he has, in the bottom of the basement. Kind of gives you like people up and on the stairs type of like vibe right there. So this like mysterious man, which we know is like Detective Jed, which we found out later on, is torturing Caddy because now he knows that it was Caddy, the one that killed Sarah, and he has this place that's up underground to like catch criminals who have done innocence wrong, and for people to like gain like a vengeance like on the people that have like taken away their loved ones. So Detective Jed was like letting Ned Flanders know like, look man, I caught the dude, you know what I'm saying? But I don't need to I need your word and I need to trust you and shit because like man, you looking poorly, you know, I know you hurting. I understand your pain. I really empathize and I actually have been in your shoes. So Detective Jed tells Ned Flanders the whole backstory of what happened to him and his wife and his unborn child. Yeah, it was crazy though because it was a guy that was a serial rapist and everything else. He was just diabolical, just menacing, and he would pick up runaways and he would torture them. He would just do all kinds of crazy sexual acts. And if you have a problem with me saying the R word, rape and everything, I'm not going to apologize for that. It just is what it is. I'm just not one of those people that's not afraid to say that. Um, because that has actually happened to me. No, I'm not Oprah, like, everything like Oprah says, like, remember how Oprah said, like, oh, like, I got beat upside the head, and then Oprah's like, I have been beaten upside the head too. I'm like, what else has not happened to you, Oprah? I'm not saying, I'm not discounting her or whatever, but I'm just letting I do have, there's some things that, like in some movies, and some situations that I have actually had real life terrible shit that has happened to me, of where I just don't let people like steal my power. So like, oh, Detective Jed and everything, you know, he was like having his birthday party, and everybody was like congratulating him on catching this like messed up ass, like this criminal and everything. And it takes us like in these back, like these these flashbacks where the guy, well, he was just crazy and demented, and they caught the guy, and so the guy like went to prison. So everything was like cool and safe in the neighborhood. Detective Jed, his like wife, she's pregnant and everything, and he goes off, goes to work and stuff, or he picks up something, and she's just like happy, full of joy because they're bringing their daughter into this world. He's happy to be like a first time dad. They're gonna be parents and shit. And then when he leaves, like old homeboy that he put away and stuff, who was doing all those heinous crimes on like, on those poor tortured souls and stuff, knocks on the door, and it's him. Surprises the crap out of her. He comes home, and it's very, very heartbreaking. And so in his madness of him just dealing with not only that his wife is gone, but his unborn child. And I'm just like, man, that dude's crazy, bro. That dude is crazy for doing that, just getting back revenge, on, the detective. I mean, he's doing his job, but dude, you going out like harming people and stuff. But the detective leads, you know, Ned Flanders to his little secret place in the woods, in his cabin. So Ned Flanders like looking around. He was like, "Oh, this is a nice little place. Oh, and everything else." He was like, "The structure and everything is just Victorian. Oh man, it's just, just house was built like in 1932 and shit." He was going through the history of the house and everything else. Then he takes him down into this cellar, and there's like, you can see like these it's like these 10,000 maniacs. Kind of feel like that whole like Nightmare on Elm Street. If y'all remember, like on the Dream Warriors, where like Amanda Kruger was telling like Dr. Dude like, yo, like she was the one that was like assaulted all weekend long by like the mental patients and everything. So he sees this shit, and then he sees Caddy, and Caddy is the one that he's been wanting. And he tells like Ned Flanders, like, "Yo, Ned, like, choose your weapons wisely and stuff like that. This is the dude that has murdered your daughter. She was innocent." He's like, "I don't want you to kill him. I just want you to just really get your shit out, fuck him up, but don't kill him." Like, that's all he was like offering him. But Ned Flanders, he's like under the fleece wool of like Jesus and God and Saint Christopher and all that and shit. He was like, "No, I can't do it. Why would I do something like this? This, I know the guy took away my daughter. She's not gonna come back or whatever. And this, what satisfaction is going to like give me and stuff." And I was like, "Ned, come on now, like seriously, Ned Flanders, Ned, this dude like brought you the dude that like murked your daughter, and you sitting up there bitching out." This what she was telling you. Your daughter was telling, like, do you hear Sarah's like ghostly voice in your head, like, "Dad, fuck him up"? She was sitting there telling you, and I was just like, bro, like, Jesus is telling you to like fuck him up. Jesus is not telling you to kill him, but like just fuck him up. Like, that was your baby girl. Fuck him up. He deserve it and shit. There ain't no damn like thunder and lightning and motherfucking like winds and seas and clouds be parting and shit and everything, and you see the hand of God fucking him up. No, like God is telling you to fuck him up. But anyways, he's just ignoring all the shit. But like Ned Flanders, like with his ignorant, I understand. Like I said, I understand Ned is like conflicted because like now he's like faced with not only he lost his daughter and he's grieving and he's mourning and all this shit just came so fast to him. He's like not in a really good headspace, but it's like he's like fighting with himself like, do I hit him or what? It's like, Ned Flanders, come on now, like this is a bully and shit. Like this motherfucker has really pushed you like to the limit, even though you have not done anything. Like I said, this is more of like a chess game. Like I'm looking, I'm like, man, this is a chess game. And then anybody like plays chess and shit like that, you got the rook with the bishop, the king and knight and all that shit like that. And like it's times like in chess and shit, the rook and everything, or the bishop and everything have to do some motherfucking damage, on the board too. Cause sometimes like you be like, oh, cause bishop like, I don't know. Well, and then until you push bishop too far, you're like, oh shit, let me fuck him up. That's how the bishop is. So Ned Flanders was just like, no, no, man, you wrong for this. You wrong for that. And then like Jed was like, look, bro, you see that dude right there? He said, that's the dude that killed my daughter, my unborn daughter, and my wife in this jail grave pit crazy crap would I have for them? And he was just like describing like each and every one. They would had numbers because he like literally like just took stripped anything. He's pretty much just stripped everything from these people and stuff because they murdered people. There was one lady that she sold her kids into like prostitution and all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, he was like just in detail describing of what he did to them. He poured like Drano down their throats, and bleach and through like hot piss. He let them be animals because he's like, they're gonna be like animals, they're gonna act like animals, but you gonna tell me that I have to like respect them because of humanity? He's like, oh hell no, I'm not gonna do that. That's the reason why he had them pinned up down there in that little shitty ass cellar. So Ned Flanders and everything, he's getting away from Jed, and he was just like, I'm going to report you because you're not great. You're just the same as them. So like Ned Flanders got the keys, and he like opened up the like pen. Why did he do that? That's that bullshit right there. I was like, Ned Flanders, come on now. This man, like, I'm just gonna say it like this. Even though it was very unorthodox of the detective to do this and everything, even though he reported them like missing or they're presumed dead or something like that because they were criminals and they did a lot of crimes, um you know to like a lot of the victims, and the families have lost. And of course he was giving like that redemption to families to like, hey fam, like look, this is the person that I did this to your son or daughter, grandma, whatever like that. You get a chance to fuck them up. So there was basically like zombies. I mean, they were like the undead. I mean, the way how he just literally stripped them of all of their human, just what little shred of humanity that they have. He literally did that. And so Ned was like, oh my God, I really messed up. And like, it was so funny because Ned Flanders said fuck in this movie and was like falling out laughing. And so Ned was trying to get away. He was like fighting Jed, and then of course like the crazies and stuff because they've been hemmed up in this cellar and been treated like like they're supposed to. there was, I mean, they were just went havoc. They just went amok and stuff. So they're just like running out of the house. You know, they're trying to kill Jed. They actually did get Jed and everything. So Ned Flanders, he was like, "Damn, I gotta fight now." So Ned was like, "All right, gotta fight." Okay, finally he was like, that was crazy because I'm just like, bro, you brought this shit on yourself because you unlocked the fucking gate on them. Now you gotta fight. You should have just like beat the dude's ass and everything and just left it alone. But now Ned Flanders gotta like kill. He's got to kill these grossly inhumane monsters. So he's just like, now he's like gearing up like Ash, like on Evil Dead. I mean, even down to the fucking haircut, bro. I mean, because he was like youth pastor, like Ned Flanders, and then he just like turns automatically into Ash from Evil Dead. So there's blood and guts and lots of gore, lots of, you know, just grossness with it. Not bad. And so that's where we all see, like in the beginning, and that explains why, you know, Ned slash um, Ash from Evil Dead is trying to save the girl, but sadly, um, he didn't. Oh yeah, he tried to ride a motorcycle. That shit was funny. He got fucked off. I was laughing, like I was laughing my ass off too. I was like, whoa, whoa, don't get too ahead of yourself, partner. You know, he fell off the fucking motors. It was a dirt bike, really, but fell off. Like, ooh, it's, it's like the early beginnings of trying to become a badass. But anyways, Caddy actually escapes, and Caddy goes to these old people's houses and shit. That was like really cute because this older man, the old guy, he was like, you know, it was like after Christmas and he was getting ready to like chop the tree down and, you know, whatever he's going to do with it, destroy it. And like the lady was just so old and so cute. And he was just looking like all at her like little cakes and her little buns and stuff. I mean, she had like a little booty on her. I'm like, that is so sweet. Kind of remind me of my big mama and big daddy because I remember one time I took them to the bank because it was like old people day. Us old people days when they get their like SSI checks and stuff to like pay bills, and they I took him to the bank, and she was withdrawing. She was talking to the teller, and then my grandpa was just like chilling, laid in the back, you know, sitting in a chair, and then all of a sudden he just gets up and starts like rubbing and patting her booty and just getting all close and snuggling up, and she got so embarrassed. She's like, "Stop touching my butt." And I was sitting there just cracking up laughing. And when they got back to the car, she was just fussing at him. She's like, "You don't do that. Don't be touching my butt in public." And I told her, I was like, "Big mama." I was like, when I get around y'all age, like 500 years, like, because you're 500 years old and he's like 640 years old, you know, they're like pretty close in age of like how people in biblical times, like they say they lived. And he's like rubbing and touching my butt like that in public, and y'all are that old. I would be so happy because Big Daddy really do still find you very attractive. You still got that badunkadunk, and he just want to feel on some good. I was like, I want that. And you're sitting up there fussing because he's rubbing on your butt. I'm like, come on now. I want that shit when I get 300 years old, just like y'all. But But Caddy goes in and scares the living shit out of the lady. She runs back in the house and she's hollering for her husband. Her husband has the wood chipper. That's it. He was wood chipping the damn Christmas tree with the ornaments on it. I was like, that is so old people shit right there. Because my grandpa did some shit like that. He would do something goofy and still have whatever's on it, won't take it off or anything else, and he hurts the old lady. I was like, oh, you bitch. And so he goes in and he hurts the old man too. I was like, wow, why would you mess with these old people? Because he was trying to steal the truck and everything. And so, like, Ned slash Ash, like, catches up with him, and Ash tries to like throw a punch. He gets thrown through a window, and I was like, "Bad move, dude. You're not Ashley Williams, okay? You're still Ned Flanders. Y'all remember that time when Ned Flanders like took off his shirt and people thought like he was just like all wussy and wimpy and stuff, and he took off his shirt and he had like this very nice, tight, muscular physique up under like all of that shit, and you're just like, what? Yeah, this was the opposite. So him, Caddy, and Ned Flanders, they was going at it. It was seriously going at it and shit. But before that, there was like a bracelet that Ned was given to the youngest daughter. And the youngest daughter was like, I think you need to wrap this for Christmas and just not give it to me like that. She's like, I'd rather for have that because she was going over to her aunt's house and stuff. So he still had that in his pocket. So they're like all tussling and everything. I mean, it kind of went on like a little bit too long, but you get the point. Because I guess it's like some type of like montage or whatever that like Ned Flanders like realized that I gotta fight. So he does. He really is fighting. He got smart enough and very clever to pull out the bracelet and stab old dude in the eye, which I like that old eye gouging shit right there. That's just nothing good and awesome to see, like a good old sharp object all through the dude's eye. And by the way, the dude who plays like Caddy and shit, that motherfucker is like pretty fucking ripped and shit. I mean, he's like bald headed like a motherfucker and stuff. I thought he was like crap from what's that band called? Oh my god. What is that band called? Oh Lord have mercy. Duro crap in flux. Jesus Christ, it just left me. Let me see, what's that band? Man, Oomph. Yeah, I thought it was. I did. I thought it was crap from like Oomph, the German like rock band Oomph. I thought it was crap, but anyways, it wasn't him. So I was like, oh snap! I was like, man, he's like pretty buff and shit and everything. It's like he's still like a funny looking dude, but like his uniqueness, just like, and he's just being ripped and shit. He's like bald headed. I'm not like really big into like bald headed people and shit, but like he was kind of like cute though. It like made sense. But like he got like the good old ass like out gouging by the bracelet. Good thinking, Ned Flanders. And so like Ned Flanders like threw his ass in the wood chipper chopper and stuff and chop it up, chop it up, chop us all, chop us all, chop them up and everything like spaghetti. It was pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? Like they didn't like hold back on that. So like Ned Flanders, now Ashley Williams, the pastor, is like tainted because he killed people. He actually got back at Caddy for murdering his daughter. But that was like really funny what Caddy said. And that shit was funny because I actually did agree with Caddy because he said, at least your daughter fought back. Caddy just basically just told Ned Flanders, like, yo, your daughter is more knuck and buck than you. And I said, I do agree, sir. I really do agree. I said she was more nuck and poked than her dad. I'm telling you, it must be the mom that was like the scrapper in her like youth or something before she became the pastor's wife. And then of course it doesn't explain like how she passed away or whatever, but I believe like they got that from their like the girls got that from their mom. They sure didn't get this shit from their dad because half the it took like probably about like the last act, I would say pretty much 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes before the movie end that he no 20 minutes I'm going to say that he actually started to fight. So there it is right there. Damn. But yes, Ned Flanders have saved the day. You know, he has murdered his murderer that has murdered his daughter. Is everything all right in the neighborhood? I guess you would say that because little young girl, little young butt, little Thundercat, she was practicing on her swing. I was like, oh, okay, look at you. You like, swinging on your little bed and everything, stuff like that. So like Pop's like, like now he's not Ned Flanders, he is actually Ashley Williams. And he like dipped out for a sec. And so like this guy comes in, like this all obnoxious, rude ass dude with his son, and like kind of pushed her out the way and stuff like, yo, you ain't doing nothing. You're nothing but a little girl and everything. My son is he's like aces and stuff. You know how them funky ass, like stupid ass parents and shit, they like feel like their son or daughter is gonna be like a damn athlete and shit and everything, and really they ain't worth shit. So he was like on that energy right there. So like Ned Flanders, like, wait, bro, like my daughter was here. I mean, he was being civil. He was like, hey, my daughter was here. We had this cage right here. So I believe you need to go and find another one. And he was like, man, we just got 30 minutes and everything. She ain't no but girl. It's not like she gonna do any fucking thing as it is anyways. And I'm just like, bro, like, why you talking like that to like somebody's like I'm like, whoa, you need to choose your words wisely and stuff. I mean, I wouldn't even care if like Ned Flanders didn't fight and stuff. Like, you just don't be rude like that. That's so disrespectful. You just disrespected his daughter like that. I was like, oh, that dude beat his wife. That dude beat his wife and shit. And the little boy looked like he's like, you could tell he's scared of his daddy and stuff, but his daddy like punk ass bitch. And so like Ned Flanders like, baby, like now he like, baby, I'm gonna do something. You know what I'm saying? I know you ain't gonna like it, but I think you're gonna like this right here. So like Ned Flanders like clocked his ass, and that was the end of the movie. Retaliators, I would give it like pretty much like a 6 or something, because it had like not so much of a the storyline. I feel that the storyline could actually use a little bit more of a punch. um I feel that like just like I think like the whole concept of him just being this Jeezy Creasy, like, I'm for the Lord, good looking youth pastor. I lost my wife years ago. I'm taking care of my daughters, etc., etc. I'm very respected in the community until something tragic happens, and then come to find out that the detective that's like helping me, he's actually doing some shady shit. And then but the whole like parts of like the the drug people, and stuff like that. I mean, I see like the interception of that because they were there to like at the place. But I feel that could I feel that that part could have been a little bit more stronger, because really it's supposedly that Bishop, Pastor Nick Bishop is like entangled like with like the seedy underside of the drug world that's like in his community. But we really did not see much of an interaction with the bishop, Ned Flanders, like with them. The only time you see an interaction with the guys that was looking for Caddy because of the brother and the missing drugs and the money and stuff is when they found out and they followed, because they had a tracker on the car, and they found where Caddy was at, which is in the woods inside Detective Jed's home and cellar. That's the only interaction that they have with Ned Flanders. That's the only interaction. The only interaction that Ned Flanders have had is with Detective Jed. So it's like a little bit misleading of that. I feel that it could have been much better. Kind of like the synopsis of it is that there's like this like hot, cute youth pastor that turns into Ash from Evil Dead, because this guy that like fucked around and thought he was smarter than like the people that he was dealing with, which is bad people, got caught by the detective. And the detective has this secret cellar where he catches the criminals that has killed or murdered families, that he has the families. I know that's a long ass synopsis right there, but still, I don't think like I think they could have like really went into a little bit more of a different direction with that. But hey, I didn't write the movie and stuff. I mean, because you can tell there's like a couple movies that you can see throughout this the Retaliators that you recognize. And basically like somebody watched a lot of fucking Simpsons, and they remember that line that Andrew Garfield said to uh, Toby Maguire, you know, you look like a cool youth pastor. That's what that's what Michael Lombardi looked like. He looked like a cool youth pastor. He really did. He really did. He really looked. I mean, I was like, kind of like, man, I would. I don't know. I mean, like he has to like if I dated like a cool like divorced or like a widowed youth pastor, but they'd be more like widower. Like he's gonna have to like accept my extraness. I mean, I would accept him too, even though I'm not like religious or whatever. But if he's like cute, I mean, like he's got kids and everything. I got kids too, but shit. I ain't raising no little the younger. I ain't even raising a little young one and shit. I just throw the little girl back to her auntie and stuff. Cause I be like, yo, my kids are like, one of them's grown, the other one is almost out the house and shit. I was like, I be like, I ain't trying to re-raise some kids and shit and everything. It's my time to like shine and go on vacations and shit like that. That's what I be like to him. And he gonna be like, well, you gonna have to be my first lady. I'll be like, I sit up there look cute and everything and shake my head and look cute, and yes, yes, the Lord. But I don't want to sound so fake as fuck, yo. No, I'm being serious, man. Like I'll tell you this story. Well, like I spoke to like a group of girls, and I didn't know it was like I didn't know it was like a Christian based one, because I was one of the vendors, and and one of the speakers, and it was a small group, and and everybody was just like, oh, with the power of God and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, what I get into? I'm like, help me, sweet Lucifer, please, like, what do I do? I was like, I don't want to sound fake. I mean, cause I will sound very fake. But I'm gonna tell you. But this is the uncanny part about this right here is when I actually do like when I get into like prayer and stuff, like especially when my grandmother was sick. Now that was the real shit right there. Now I can go into real ass. Yeah, because when I go into like a real prayer that I did with my grandmother when she was still living, that was real shit because I meant that and I was like on it like that. I mean, I swear on crib, if I wasn't like this cussy and this extra and everything, I would be an evangelist. But that don't sway me over there. It just doesn't because I be cussing up on that pulpit and I be talking shit about this person, that person, and I be telling the real and everything, and they be like, Evangelist Lacey has is got a filthy mouth on her, but she's real with it. You damn right I'm real with that shit. I am shit. I almost cussing people out when I was DJing. It was on an accident. I almost called them motherfuckers. But anyways, I probably said that like one episode or something. I don't know. But like for real, I mean, I'm just saying like he gotta like I can't be all just up there be faking and everything because it be fake as shit. But so that goes my dream of like dating the cool youth pastor. You know what I'm saying? So sorry. But back to what I was saying about the retaliators. Um, it just took. I guess it just took the hand of God to really push. You know, John Bishop into like doing this because he did not want to do it and he was like so conflicted about murder and everything was in the Bible and he decided to say, "Hey bitch, fuck that turn the other cheek shit. Eye for an eye, motherfucker." So he did that eye for an eye. He hated it, but then he's like, "Shit." He's like, "Shit, this ain't bad at all." I mean, you see, like John Bishop actually grew. It like his nuts grew bigger. His dick got bigger. He had like big dick energy. He really did. He didn't have no big dick energy. He had small dick energy. Cause it seems like cause he seemed like up under the surface, you know what I'm saying? He was angry. He was pissed off. He's pissed off because his wife is gone. It was a lot of shit. I think they would have like if they would have like really like zoned in a lot of like what was really going on inside of him. He was just pushing like a lot of his emotions and stuff really deep. I mean, he was trying to be strong for his daughters and stuff like that, but he was really, really angry. I believe he was fucking, he's been angry. He's been angry. And so he was scared of his anger, but he better like thank like Detective Jed and shit pulling that shit out though. He better be yeah, cause sometimes like you gotta have the unsavory people and shit in certain situations to pull that shit out, and you gotta do what you gotta do and everything. I mean, you could tell like the pastor didn't even go to jail for what he did because like really it was self defense and stuff, and plus like shit, he's the pastor. He's respect. He's like much respect. Now like all the townsfolk of like Townsville and shit, like really respect this dude. Like, man, he saved us from the evil. I wonder how that like police report is about like Detective Jed though. Like what was said? Maybe like internal affairs or something. Like, man, we have an internal affairs like investigation about Detective Jed keeping all these people down here. Y'all didn't know he was doing all. Can you just imagine the like chaos of like that whole police station because of one of their own, which everybody has like respected Detective Jed, have felt sorry for him, and that he actually uh mentally, just took it upon himself to like feel like that he does not have he didn't have like that faith in God, that he just like, you know what, I'm just going to take it upon my hands and like really help people. So you had two dudes that was like helping people. One was like helping people like with fucking people up that has like, you know, unliven like their loved ones. And then you have one that's a man of God that's like telling everybody to have love and kindness and walk in the ways of Jesus and shit, which is very fucking impossible for people to do. Um, accept your flaws, people. What person do what Jesus do? You can't. See, I would make a terrible, terrible pastor. She's telling us we can't do what Jesus do. Nope, you sure can't, motherfucker. And I'll be sitting there and you know what? I'll be telling everybody like, you know what? You're more closer to Satan. They be like, oh my God. No, and I will put this voice on. You're more closer to Satan. I do that shit right there, man. I clear out the whole church. Or someone be cackling or laughing. It probably like one or two like, yes, some shit like that. Nah, on the cool though. But yeah, you had like, that was like the parallel of like, um, you know, the pastor and the detective and stuff. Two worlds come together in a congealed, nasty, gruesome sandwich of murder. And was it the path of redemption? No, it's not. It really isn't. It's no redemption with it and shit, but But anyways, that is enough of my time. Thank you so much for listening to my review on the Retaliators. Now, if you enjoy um the bands that is like in this movie and stuff, which there are on tour with Ice Nine's Kills and everything else, watch it. If you like, you know, movies like this, go and watch it. Um, it was okay for me. I just feel like uh they could have like really sink their teeth into with some of the storyline, and it was kind of laggy a little bit, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? The blood, the gore shit was really really great, especially with the whole van scene. Um that was pretty cool right there. Um and then it kind of like falls off, and then it just like crescendos back up, and it's kind of like horror medium light. That's how I feel about it. It's just horror medium light, but it felt more of like a suspense. Yeah, it just felt like more suspense. It's just a little bit more suspensey. Is that a word? Suspensey. All right, people. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Texas Horror Babe. You can click on the link in the bio. You can follow, share, whatever, say a hi, hello, or whatever. But don't be all in my DMs and shit talking about hey, beautiful, and all this stuff. But don't be doing that bullshit right there, okay? Also on Facebook at The Random Horror Show. I am available on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, Amazon, Podbean, whatever platform that you can find me on, I'm just there. Hello. So, no further ado, thank you for listening to the Random Horror Show, and y'all have a wonderful night.